Hey, I'm Aftermath. I'm going to be going over the changes that happened in today's Castlevania Harmony Despair update. Starting with the characters in single player mode, Soma remains mostly unchanged. The only difference that I've noticed is that his Muramasa is now much stronger, sitting at 91 attack and his 4th strongest weapon. And since it's so quick, you can use it in conjunction with backdash cancing and destroy pretty much everything in the game. I hit for about 130 or 140 on most enemies. The Valman Way is also unchanged, so still pretty strong and ridiculously fast and overpowered. All of his souls remain the same as before, MP cost and otherwise. The orc jumping still works as before, so Soma's only difference is just the Muramasa, as far as anyone can tell. As far as Alucard is concerned, he got a little bit of a nerf in that his Yasatsuna is now about half as fast as before. So before the patch, if you were to mash the attack buttons, you would see the damage numbers stack on top of each other pretty closely. Whereas now there's a noticeable gap between them, and his DPS has been cut roughly in half. So hopefully you'll see less Alucard blenders, although since the Valman Way is still as good as it was before, you'll probably just see more Valman Way Alucards than Yasatsuna Alucards. He did get a couple buffs in that his Muramasa is now his strongest weapon, so maybe you'll see some Alucards running around with Muramasas instead of Yasatsunas, and his Daybreak, which you get from normal, is now his 2nd strongest weapon. Surprisingly, it's still two-handed, so you might not see as many of those, but it's a very strong alternative to the Muramasa. The only downside is that all of the weapon specials didn't seem to get any sort of buff, so might not be seeing as many Daybreaks as Muramasas. All of his, I don't know what those are called, spells, I guess, remain the same. I heard that Dark Metamorphosis might be better, but I haven't noticed any improvement, although I don't have a max, so I can't say for sure. All of his defensive gear is exactly the same too. Jonathan got quite a bit of a buff in that most of his sub-weapons now cost less MP. So Knife went from 8 to 6, Holy Water, Cross, and Bible went from 20 to 15, and I think some of the other assorted ones cost a bit less now. So for a character that's dependent on sub-weapons, that's quite a big boost to him, because he can use them more now. Sonic jumping still works, so didn't seem to be nerfed in any way. I know that was a big concern before the patch if they would take out Sonic jumping, and they did not. Julius and Richter, unchanged except for the fact that their sub-weapons now cost less MP, so overall a buff for them just because they can use more of the sub-weapons. Everything about them otherwise is exactly the same as before the patch. Shinoa got no changes made to her. MP costs are the same, attack power is the same, no additional things either. So if you played her before the patch, no difference whatsoever. Charlotte arguably got the shortest end of the stick in the patch, in that her most popular combo, the Skull Astral combo, isn't viable anymore. Mostly because heal takes 50 MP, but the other thing is that they nerfed heal's damage as well, or heal's heal amount. It only heals for around 50, so if you were to use the Astral combo, you're just going to be deadlocked and not healing anything. To make up for that somewhat, also on the topic of heal, it no longer gives you invincibility frames, so if you try to heal and then run through an enemy or run through a trap of some sort, you're just going to get hit. To make up for that sort of nerf, the Robe Decollete now has a Chaos Ring effect, in addition to like wildly improved stats. So it's clearly her best chest piece, and the best chest piece for all of the females now. So while you can't run around as recklessly as you could with the Astral Ring, if you use Robe Decollete and probably a couple Chaos Rings, you can still spam quite a few spells. I don't have Yoko, but I think she goes in the middle of these two. She got the Robe Decollete buff as well, so even faster MP regen. And the other thing is that her Holy Flames and Holy Lightning now have holy damage on them as well. So it's an attack upgrade on anything that's also weak to holy, and you get that. It's 50% damage boost. The other thing of note with that is that they still retain their fire and lightning element, so it's just a dual elemental spell now. Maria got a few upgrades, the first of which is that the MP cost on all of her spells is reduced to 10 from 15. Him is also a holy attack now, so it'll do more damage on pretty much everything, which is quite a big buff for her, because that was the main attack that she used on a lot of bosses. Her actual attack power was raised, I think, by like 5 to 10 points. So it makes her duffs a bit better, but the attack rate on them is still limited to being pretty slow, so she's not broken, but just a more balanced character now. So hopefully we see more Marias online. As far as global changes in single player mode, if you hold the left bumper, right bumper, and the 4 face buttons, you can autofill a chapter, which lets you either just restart faster than killing yourself or going to beat the boss, which is more useful than it might seem. The other thing is that characters can't go through the gold doors anymore, which was useful in Chapter 2 and Chapter 7 to either get to the boss or get to a switch early. It's not for sure if it was taken out, but I mean, I tried for like 10 or 15 minutes and couldn't get it. It normally takes 5 or 10 seconds, so I'm pretty sure it's out. Hopefully someone finds a way around it as well, because in speedrunning, like, that was a very useful trick. Sad to see it gone. I think that covers the single player changes. Just a quick note about replays. If you have any replays from the old patch that no longer work. And then as far as multiplayer goes, it got a pretty big overhaul as far as matchmaking and whatnot. Biggest change is now that quick match is capitalized. Other changes are that you can now, when you go to custom match, you can search by difficulty and chapter. So if you need to farm a certain thing, you can search by here and maybe find someone. You can do the same in survival mode, custom match, you can search difficulty. When you actually create a team, let's see if I can create a team real fast. So you can create a team and set the chapter beforehand, and then finalize it. And then if you want to, the biggest change for party mode is that if you're the host, you can search for members while you're in the lobby, and so it won't disband the team. And so you just go back to this page, and you can then invite someone or let randoms join, like someone just did. And so, sorry for him, but I have to disband. So matchmaking is a lot more streamlined, especially when playing with friends. If someone disconnects, you no longer have to disband the entire party to invite them back. If someone logs on and you want to invite them, you can just go back to that screen and invite them. That's only for the host. The other members won't have that, but you can just ask the host to invite them. As far as multiplayer changes, the Water of Life glitch, or dupe glitch, still works. So for any of you that die a lot, that's still in the game. And the other big change is skeleton mechanics. If you open a boss chest while someone's in a skeleton form, it used to be they would stay a skeleton and wouldn't get a drop. Now, when you open the chest, they get auto-revived, and they get the drop. So if you beat a boss and someone's dead, you no longer have to go find a Water of Life to revive them before opening the chest. Opening the chest will revive them. And so it's probably going to be a positive. The only thing is that just means randoms that die a lot probably won't rage quit, and so you'll have to carry them for longer. The other thing with skeletons is they can now duck and slide. In addition to looking really hilarious, it's useful in a couple situations, basically just to avoid getting hit and losing you time. And then the last thing to mention is that as far as score runs go, they changed the scoring system slightly, in that if you collect a ton of gold, it won't reflect exactly that amount in your gold score. So if you go through a level and collect a ton of 500 gold bags or whatever, you might only end up with 1,000 or 2 as your gold score. And so it's nice that it removes some of the luck from the score runs, and that you don't have to just like constantly redo it until you get a nice streak of 500 gold bags. The only problem is, since they wiped leaderboards before the patch, it just means that some of those runs will probably be nigh impossible to beat, just because they have that added gold score from the pre-patch scoring system. And then last thing to mention is that if you, for whatever reason, want to remove the patch, you can go to System Settings, and then wait for it to load, then Memory, and Device Options, and then this Clear System Cache option will delete all of the patch updates. And so if you delete the patch update and then log off Xbox Live, you can play the game with the before patch mechanics, if you want to do that for whatever reason. And I think that completes everything that changed in the patch. Hopefully you found this video informative and not entirely boring. Thanks for watching, and you should go check out my speedruns. Thanks.